Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Distillery, where the deals brew and the good times pour. We are here at Covalent Distillery. Well, Covalent Spirits. I'm so used to saying distillery.
Wait
so
till we go to a brewery, you're going to say brewery or winery. That's really going to mess you up.
Well, yeah, I know. It's going to throw me all the way off.
Yeah.
So welcome in. We're happy to have you. Welcome back. So I will turn it over to John because John has set us up to be here at Covalent. So, John, why don't you get us started?
Okay, very good. Well, I'm John, by the way, and we're here with Jennifer. She is the owner of Covalent Spirits, and it's a wonderful, wonderful place to come. I've come here many times, and I always have a good time, and the drinks are great, and they put so much care into the drinks, and they taste wonderful. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
So,
Introduce yourself. Tell us
yeah,
who you are,
tell us about yourself. And
Well, I'm Jennifer, and my husband and I own Covalent Spirits. We've been open for just under 2 years. It'll be 2 years in November. We have a big celebration on November 16th here at Covalent Spirits. But it's been a passion project of mine that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I'm really excited that I could do it here in Westminster.
very
Nice.
good. So I know everybody's going to ask, and I know I asked when I came in, how'd you get the name?
So I am a big science geek. I really am. I was a biology major at MIT. I was pre-med and was supposed to go off to med school and took a lot of chemistry classes and chem lab. And I decided partway through that I loved biology and chemistry, but I don't think I was cut out to be a doctor.
Okay.
And went off and went into technology and consulting because that was the default thing to do back then. And I always thought I would end up somewhere back into a health-related field or a biotech field of some sort.
Oh, you are.
But, yeah, so it didn't quite happen the way I thought it was going to happen. But I love whiskey, I love spirits, and at the end of the day, it kind of just all kind of came together. But I knew I wanted to name the company around something sciencey, and for me, Covalent came to mind. So yes, in chemistry,
Covalent bonds.
a covalent bond, right?
Oh, you know that?
Take you back to
I do.
high school
So-
chemistry.
Yes. So look,
Hold on, I
not
didn't
even
know
just
that.
high school. All right. So you'll get a kick out of this. I'm not as smart as you, obviously. But I went to school at Penn State.
You stupid.
I started with no, I'm not pushing that for myself. I started in biobehavioral health.
Okay.
And so I took all of the same thing. I thought I was going to med school. So I took all of the science classes just to realize like, nope, I hate this. And I changed. So
So what's a covalent bond?
Ooh. Oh, wait. You
She's got you stumped.
You brought it up. I mean,
it's when two molecules share a bond.
how? Sort of, kind of. Actually, not quite. But okay, so
Okay, so you're wrong.
so
Okay, you hit the button now.
Now I can hit the button. Now I can. There we go.
You stupid.
Man.
so in chemistry, covalent refers to a bond formed through sharing of electrons. So it's actually two atoms sharing an electron.
And this is
to
why I
form a
stopped.
molecule.
This is
But-
why I
This is
stopped.
why I stopped. Yep.
It is the strongest bond in nature. And we believe that the best and strongest bonds you can have with somebody else is by sharing something. So you share a drink, you share an experience, you share a community. Bonding through sharing is the covalent spirit. And so for us, yes, we strive to make really good distilled products, but we also want to create a space for people to get together and connect and share. We think that's some of the most special moments in our lives is by sharing. So
Yes.
yeah, so covalent spirit.
Nice.
Yes. And
Nice.
and I can vouch for that because every time I've come in,
He's
I've talked to,
drinking.
well, yes, I drank, but I've always talked to somebody I didn't
Meet new
know.
people.
Yes.
Right? You meet, and this community, within a few degrees of separation, somebody knows somebody kind of thing. So
What's
it's
that?
not hard to kind of find something in common, and it's always so cool to see. It's like going to someone's house party, and you kind of meet somebody, and you meet somebody else. You start talking, you start connecting, and all. That's the kind of vibe we have here. So it's kind of fun.
It's kind of a mixture between Cheers and what's that, 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or
6
something like that.
6
degrees.
degrees.
Kevin
Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah.
A lot of people do
Whatever
say
that
that about the
is.
Cheers thing. A lot of people have said that. Like they're like, oh, it's like coming to Cheers.
So for me, I want to quickly share that you are in the health field because these guys know, and anybody that knows me, I believe in the 2 brown healing waters in life. One of those is coffee. The second is bourbon. So I live today, such as, well, you know, they just saw the picture. Who we just lose? Chris Christopherson.
Yes.
Right. So there's one picture of a cowboy movie, whatever, and the only one still standing is who?
Willie Nelson.
Willie. So Willie's got his weed. I got my bourbon. Everybody's good in life. I don't know what to say about that.
My big joke to my parents now is that I am finally back in the science field, right? I have technically a lab next door where we distill everything and measure things in beakers and flasks and fancy meters and all, just in a different way. So, yeah.
You're healing people, Jennifer. And I personally want to pay my homage to you on that.
I would agree. I would agree.
100%.
We all get healed through spirits.
Yes.
The
So-
healing,
Especially.
the healing spirit, yes.
And then one of the stories you told me before, what's on your shirt, is the logo.
Yes.
How that came about, and it's a wonderful story. And if you don't mind.
Before you tell this story, I need to let people know that because of this story, I know when we met a while back and we talked about this, we mentioned John and our former our real estate team, and it has taken us since we met you because we are so obsessed with the story. I won't speak for you. I was obsessed with your story. Like we both were like, I just want something to speak to us, something like whatever. And I'm like, damn, Jennifer took the perfect name. So we came up with the Platinum Home Team. Is what is launching here in the next couple of weeks of fully going into effect as our Platinum Home Team. But however, your story behind your logo and that I have to agree is like just amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many layers to the story, right, of our logo. So our logo is quite simple, right? It's basically 2 lines and 2 dots. But as you look at it, it's the C and the S and the 2 dots. And the 2 dots represent the electrons, right? So I knew I wanted something kind of in an abstract way as a nod to the idea of this like covalent bond. But when we came up with this, it was as a happy accident, I think. Our graphic artist knew what we were looking for, so we worked closely with him, telling him our vision for what we want the logo to represent. We wanted this to be a brand, and we wanted the logo to mean something and have significance and have an interpretation behind it. We played with lots of different variations. At one point, it was a C, and the 2 dots, and then the S. But then one night, he actually superimposed a C and the S to make sure the curvature was exactly the same. And when he did that, he was like, oh my goodness, I think this is it.
I think I've got something.
Because one of the requirements we had also, we want something, well, it could be full color. We also wanted something that will print in one color, like we etch glass or if we have a one color t-shirt. You still don't lose the meaning behind it. My last name is Young, Y-A-N-G. And at one point we thought about naming the distillery Ying and Yang, right? But we decided to move away from that and go back to the sciencey one. So when you put the 2, when you superimpose the S and the C together, we got almost a little yin-yang symbol out of it. And you still have the dots that, so it's the C and the S for Covalent Spirits. It looks a little bit like, my last name. And it has the 2 dots, represents the bond. But there are so many other hidden meanings around it. Every time we ask people to look at our logo, what do you see? And we've heard things like, oh, it looks like, the side of a still, and looks like the 2 circles like drops, off of the still, like in an abstract kind of way.
Wow.
If you turn it 90 degrees,
It gets better.
you actually can, way back in the day before emojis, we had emoticons, right? So those were you type in a colon or a semicolon and a one half the paren.
There are some people that still use it.
First,
yeah.
I still do. When I type, I still do that sometimes. And so if you take our logo, if you turn it, the 2 dots become the eyes, and the C and the S become this big grin with like a tongue sticking out, like licking their lips. So if you look at our logo, it almost looks like somebody licking their lips, like a yummy, yummy, yummy.
Like Charles when we're drinking with it.
Yeah. Talk to you in a few minutes, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's funny. They're not as surprised because obviously they've heard the story before. But this is my first time hearing the story about the logo, and I'm so like floored by it. Like this is wow.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It's so simple, and there's a big one on the wall over there. If you lean over, look at it, you can see if you turn your head a little bit, if you imagine the dots are the eyes, right? Yeah, you kind of see that big old grin, that kind of look.
That's gonna be your new
Yes.
nickname, CS, Covalent Spirits, because you just giggle at everything.
And,
Kind of all I
yeah.
gotta do is say his name some days. What's up, Charles?
He's trying real hard not to.
Whatever.
Oh, whatever us. That's crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of meaning to it, and there was another little meaning behind it that we don't really share a lot with people, which I guess now we probably are going to. This is what we say it here. But a lot of the story behind opening the distillery actually is tightly linked to my husband's cancer journey.
Well, this be the
So I'm
first
going
one
to-
for all of us.
My husband's a 2-time cancer survivor. And the impetus for me to actually start this pipe dream was after his first round of cancer. And we weren't married yet. I had just moved to Westminster. I sold my place in DC, moved up here to live with him, and 2 months later, he gets diagnosed. So we dropped everything and focused on that. A year or so after that, after his last surgery, it was the holidays, we were exchanging gifts, and that's when he was like, Jen, you've been having this, you've had this one dream, you totally need to do it. You spent this past year supporting me, and it's my turn to support you, right? And at the time, we weren't engaged yet, we weren't married yet. Because you got to do this. That was December of 2019. And in January 2020, I started to look into doing this here in Westminster. So we stopped all our house hunting plans and decided to stay here. I have a T-shirt that I made that says Westminster, moved for love, stayed for whiskey. That's my Hallmark story.
Have you branded that yet? Sold it? I mean,
And so we got going, and then in spring of 2021, we found out the cancer came back, and we had to pause everything. And so we were about a year late opening, and one of the reasons was because we spent 6 months focused on his health. He had colon cancer.
Wow.
And so for us, part of that too is when I look at that logo, and I see that, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it looks like a colon," or 2 dots or whatever kind of thing. And I go, "Yeah,"
Wow.
because a lot of that story that's here is tied to that quite a bit, and seeing how strong he is, and the year after everything was kind of over, all the surgeries and everything. I mean, he spent 3 months not really be able to do much. I watched and finished a Marine Corps marathon 1 year later.
What?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And
my
so,
God.
I mean, just to see how he fights and how strong he is definitely very inspirational for me, kind of go doing this journey and everything. And so for us, so when I see that, yeah, there's that little piece of it too.
Wow.
That the 2 dots also represent that. As much we joke about how, it's the bond, it's whatever, but I also see that and how this story here, this love story here is tied to our love story as well.
So
Well, wait a minute. I want to pause in. That's deserving of an applause because, I mean, hey, that is a tough fight, and just to see him build up that strength to then do a Marine Corps marathon, that's amazing.
yeah, as an Army guy, you
it's-
wouldn't know what that means.
I do marathons.
He goes
I
over the
don't.
Marine Corps part, though. I noticed that.
No.
He said, we're not talking about it.
And that definitely was a lie. I do not do marathons. The furthest I've ever run was the Army
the
10
kitchen.
miler. I've done the Army 10
that's
miler.
me.
That's about it.
Yeah,
And even that was like, when is this going to end? I'm struggling. When is this done?
So you know that the faster you run, the faster it's over.
I know that. And I was good till about
That was
mile.
deep, right?
Yeah.
I was good until about mile 7. And I was like, you know what? It's only 3 more miles. Like, this is going to be over soon. Like, it's not that bad.
It's a mindset.
Those last 3 miles killed me.
Mm-hmm.
It took me forever to get through those last 3 miles. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm,
it is a mindset thing, of course.
I know we know how much you struggle with
Oh,
that.
my God.
Well, I'm
First off,
glad you shared that story with
yeah,
us.
thank you for
yes,
sharing
one
that
of-
story because
that
that was
had to
just
be
amazing.
hard. Yeah.
And I want to make a note real quick though. His strength at running the vacuum cleaner I saw earlier was absolutely amazing.
Oh, he's always very good at that. Drew loves a tidy space, so
Who knew that when you went on this journey for this particular business, and to be honest with you, with that logo, what that has come to represent in your life is, I don't think there's words Or in reality, there's just multiple words because there's multiple paths that it goes down. That's absolutely amazing. So,
we wanted a logo to really mean something, to symbolize something, and it ended up being a bigger symbol than I had expected that it would become. A lot of this journey, things kind of fell into place a little bit and just kind of felt like it was meant to be. And so that was part of it too. It just kind of, it just flowed. It was. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say is the fact that, and you're here in a small town setting, right on Main Street in Westminster. And how old is this building? We don't even have to.
It is 99 years old.
Yeah,
It'll be 100 years old next year.
History has been here, and you're creating your own history, and Drew's creating his history. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. You keep feeding that, which is just, it's absolutely amazing. So I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. So one of the questions I have now, I know when I'm here, there's a lot of people here, but has the community really accepted? Like, are they coming in and?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
They've
good.
been amazing. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do this business here was because we knew that the community here, Westminster in particular, loves supporting local. They love it. And that is something that we really, really love too. We love being part of building a community. And everybody's been wonderful and great.
Nice. That's good. What events do you have coming up that you're doing? I know you have.
Yeah,
You said the 16th.
We have tonight is, so we love partnering with other entities here in town. This month we actually have more of Westminster events, more than our own events going on. But we have, like tonight, we have the Historic Society has a quarterly series. It's called Shaken and Stirred, Untold Stories. And they started out with from different towns. So they started this last year, and the first town was Westminster. So they brought in speakers in to tell stories about anything and everything, about some history stuff. So we had I think people talked about, one person talked about being on the roof of these buildings and like throwing snowballs or whatever, but he was a kid or whatever it is, but or some ghost stories about stuff in the past and everything. But it's been neat. So tonight's event is about Tawny Town. So they're gonna have speakers talk about some of the history there and some of the business owners there and everything. After they go through all the towns, I'm not sure what's next, but it's a lot of fun. It's a free event for the community, and it's really kind of cool. So we also have the Oyster Stroll next Saturday. That's a big Westminster event.
Yes, it's
Westminster is known for their strolls. They have several a year, and this is the last one. It's the Oyster Stroll. They actually close off a big part of Main Street, and it's a big street festival. So you can eat, drink, walk up down there. There's bands, food vendors, craft vendors. For the Oyster Stroll, there's some oyster education for kids around the bay and oysters and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it goes up to Center Street, so the light past us here. So we're on the stroll path.
Nice.
We'll be outside selling stuff, and inside will be open too.
You're going to have the little beakers and stuff going, put on a show.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That'll be inside, yes. We have a few other things kind of going on. There's a Halloween pub crawl coming up at the end of the month. But our next big event here will be for our anniversary on November 16th.
That'll be good.
Our second birthday.
Nice.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's our cotton anniversary. So we're following the wedding anniversary things.
Okay. All right.
It just says one more thing when we think about each year, but what theme should we have? So last year we had paper, and we added some new artwork in the building in honor of that, and we had little Post-it notes as our giveaways. This year, second year is cotton, so we have little packs of Kleenexes, like cotton tissues.
Okay.
So their logo
I was thinking
on
of a
it.
cotton gin or something like
Yeah.
that.
So we'll do that.
Keep with the alcohol
But,
first, though, but okay.
We have a online store. We have some new shirts we're going to be launching, and there'll be a short 2-week little store online that people can purchase. Sweatshirt blankets and other fun
nice.
things for
Nice.
cotton. Yeah. So
Nice.
I like it. I like it a lot.
then we roll into the holidays. So.
I was sitting back thinking, again, I'm in the science mode for you, and I'm also thinking, you watch all those horror movies and stuff. It's always the scientist, mad scientist, and things bubbling out. It's like you could do a whole thing for Halloween out here and just kind of really go crazy.
I know. I think Halloween's on a Thursday this year or something like that, and then yeah,
It's all month long for some of us.
You're a big Halloween fan, huh?
No, it's just another reason to drink. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny, and I'm now starting to think that all distilling owners, they're all mad scientists. I'm
We
convinced
are.
now. Yep.
It is.
I'm convinced.
I tell people, with spirit making, there's chemistry, there is biology, chemistry, and art.
Okay.
Right? The biology side is whatever source material you use, whether it be a fruit for a brandy or grains, the variety of grains you use for a whiskey, or the botanicals you pick for a gin, right? There's some biology around the agriculture side of it. And the fermentation process is all biology. Once it hits a still, that's your chemistry. And then anything you do after that, whether it be how you proof it down, if you do any post-distillation flavoring to it, or for anything aged, when you put into a barrel, blending it, all that kind of stuff, it's all art. Because there's no exact science on when a whiskey will be ready out of the barrel, how it's going to taste now versus a month from now versus a year from now, how you blend it to make something taste very good. So that's the art side of it.
Look, my mindset goes to, well, first off, that's right. I just got back from Kentucky 2 weeks ago, and I hit a bunch of distilleries down there. And I ponder, the weather's never consistent. Even though you're starting the barrels at the top of the barrel house and at the top of the rack, and or rick, actually is what they're called.
Rick house, yeah.
Yeah, and you're running them through. Every day, the temperature is going to be different. So every batch that comes out from every rick house is going to be different because you don't know how cold it's going to be that 1 year or whatever the case may be, or how hot it's going to be. So consistency is key, yet somehow it still comes out consistent.
It's and every barrel is different too. It can come
Yeah.
from the same cooperage and everything, but no two trees are necessarily identical, right? So I mean, there's going to be some, and we actually have some barrels that were the distillate, the whiskey was off the still, same batch off the still. Store the same spot in the rick house. Everything is the same. Obviously, the two different barrels. And when we harvested them on the same day, they taste different.
Interesting.
And it's so we do a blending workshop here sometimes.
Okay.
Where we've actually saved whiskey from one of the barrels we harvested. In our blending workshop, we'll actually give you a sample from each of the barrels we harvested and the blends that we do. So we do we harvest 2 barrels at a time and do 2 different blends so we can show our customers how much the flavor of a whiskey can be changed just by the proof and the blend ratio, the art side of it. And it's fascinating. It's kind of cool to see. That's where I geek out. So you should see what we have. We have this big tasting mat. I have literally little beakers for you to taste out
I love the beakers.
pipettes and everything with water. I mean, it is. You sit there, you play, and you tinker to figure out what blends you want.
I don't know if y'all saw, but the smile got bigger. The eyes got bigger. She's like, what can we do now?
See,
Let's go.
that sounds too much like titrating. No.
It is. The pipette's going on, and
Nah. All right. So speaking of science and art, is this some type of demonstration, or do you have a favorite drink that like everyone comes in and they're excited about? They order every single time. Go ahead. I
was just going to say, I think the motive here is it changes on a regular basis. The consistency in the sense of, if I come in and want an old fashioned, you're going to give me an old fashioned. But yet, when it comes to your creativity, I could come in here and not know what I'm going to get one day. So,
And our old fashions actually are not your usual run of the mill old fashions either.
Okay.
And then we also do change out our cocktails pretty regularly. We're right now in a transition, so we actually rolled off almost all our summer drinks. Last week, brought onto the menu 2 of our fall drinks. And then this week, this Saturday, we'll probably add another 1 or 2. And then next Saturday is going to be the big one. So our most popular cocktail is our spiced orange old fashioned. We make the syrup here. And it was something I did
calm down.
right before we opened.
You can have one before we go.
Well, I don't know if you can because it's not
not ready.
It's
Yeah,
seasonal.
it's not
seasonal.
available yet.
So you have to come back.
I do. I will be back.
So it debuts. It comes back on the menu next Saturday on the Oyster Stroll Day. It goes off the menu the Friday before Wine Stroll in April, and that's when our honey lemon lavender old fashioned comes on the menu.
That's the one I
This is
had.
what we have now: is a honey lemon lavender old fashioned. But the idea is that these syrups we make in house. So that our old fashions people come in for. Another popular drink, we call it our pH cocktail, and it is basically a vodka or gin with our lemonade mix that we make, and we pour a special tea on it, and it has a chemical reaction. And so we call it a pH cocktails because this tea changes colors
It's like testing the water in the
because
pool.
the acidity of the lemonade. So the change in the pH of the lemonade changes the color. So we call it pH drinks, our little chemistry one. So that's what this is right here. We had a little bit of lemonade in there, and stuff like that. And this is the blue tea. So the tea, can I show you? Do this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's a little bit. These paper straws don't work as well.
It's been soaking in there for a little while too. It's been waiting on us.
Yeah,
It's
all
okay.
right.
We'll get it.
So this should be, this tea is blue. If I hold it high enough up, see how it turns purple?
I do see it.
Wow.
The blue turns purple.
And look how it stays on top.
So I love pouring that, and by doing it higher so people can see the blue, and then it turns that purple. And that's our pH cocktail, which everybody loves. It's our chemistry cocktail.
That's the first drink I ever had in here.
Johnson.
It's good. It's good.
That one right there. That one.
And it actually makes a delicious mocktail.
Okay.
We can easily take the vodka or gin out and just put a little soda water in, and it's actually a fun mocktail. So kids love it too.
I've
Think about that.
I've been hearing a lot of different mocktail options as well for various reasons. But yeah,
So, hold on. So to be fair, with that said, as we were going through your logo, and it's on your shirt, I see it on your cup, and I've been sitting here looking at it, and I'm having this moment. I started laughing earlier. I don't know if anybody saw it or not, and I'm like, you again. Remember, this start calling you CS. Those theoretically, John, correct me if I'm wrong. Those could be two embryos. Like if somebody was having twins.
Oh, is somebody having twins?
I mean, there's a rumor going around, but
I heard
don't-
that rumor.
I don't.
Somebody having twins?
yes. So the Real Estate Distillery, you all, if you didn't know,
First ones to find out. If you catch this, that's it. Nobody knows.
my wife is pregnant, and she is pregnant with twins.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I was very shocked because I didn't do.
He's
well,
still shocked. That's
You
why
didn't
he's
do it?
starting
Were you just going to say you didn't do
You
it?
didn't do it? It's a whole different topic, guys.
That's is that what he started to say?
Yes.
That's what I heard.
But you know she's sitting right over there, right?
I do. No, I was not going to say I didn't do it. I was going to say we didn't know twins ran in our family. So it
Wait,
was,
do they?
it runs on her side of the family,
Shit.
which we
Means-
just figured that out.
Okay, cool. Because I was afraid there could be another one of you out there. As long as there's another one in Brittany, we're okay.
Well, when we went and did the ultrasound, there is one very active child in there and one very mellow child. So we think the mellow one's going to take after her, and the active one's going to resemble me. So
All right. I agree.
to be determined with the sex. We still don't know genders. So
All right.
yes.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So I've been drinking a lot more alcohol as of late.
Drinking for 2? I get it. For 3? All right, got it.
So mocktails are in his future. So he's like, well, I got to pretend like I'm doing it because I got to be able to be up later on in the middle of the night. So, yeah.
I just want to point out one thing. You notice how this is not fallen yet? It's just
Yeah,
like-
seriously.
Yeah,
It's just
I
sitting
see
there.
that sitting there. So
It's just sitting there. Oh man,
I love
it's
the ice. To be honest with you, the ice has got me intrigued. You got a special ice machine or something like that? Because it's very.
So that is fake ice. Have you noticed the ice hasn't changed in the last 20 minutes of sitting
Yeah,
here?
that's why I'm saying that. Do you have a special ice machine or something? It's fake ice. Okay.
Yeah, so when John asked me about having a drink here, I knew it was going to sit here for a while, and it's going to sweat, and it's going to get all gross. So sometimes when we want to do a displayed cocktail,
Got it.
we have fake ice,
I love it.
so it doesn't actually melt.
She probably created that too, to be honest with you. That's homemade fake ice. you can get that in the shop at some point. She'll just start selling it or something like that. Like
So it's
this
really
one more
pretty
thing.
for a demo glass or something like that. Yes.
All right.
We do a cocktail competition here for the basketball Final Four.
Okay.
Our bartenders, we do a Final Four cocktail competition with our 4 bartenders, and they're each assigned a Final Four team, so they don't really know who they're going to get until the week before.
Okay.
And so when customers come, they will get a flight of all 4 cocktails, and they can vote on who they think is the best.
That's
so
awesome.
we also need, one of the criteria is how the drink looks, right? So we have like 4 demo ones, and any of them
Okay.
need ice. We use this ice, otherwise it doesn't look
It
good,
won't
right?
look-
It won't look
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
it won't
So
live
we
out.
have, so yes, we have a bag of this kind of ice sitting back. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, is there any restaurants, local restaurants that carry Covalent Spirits?
There are a couple, not as many as we hope, but we're trying to actually do a little bit more. We haven't done a lot of distribution, partly because of just we had to make sure we can actually supply, right? So our production and everything. And then we're at a point right now where we're actually about to reach out to a few more friendly restaurants and stores to put our products into their places next month. So November is actually in Maryland. November is Maryland Spirits Month. So it's a thing for the distillery I guess industry here in the state, and so we want to try to get our stuff out there to more places to promote Maryland spirits. But Island Green was carrying our vodka and our rum for a little bit. But the Silver Run had a few of our products too, and Westminster National Golf Course right now is our best customer, a wholesale customer.
Okay.
They buy a ton of our oolong tea vodka to make the John Daly cocktails.
Right.
And then they also buy a lot of our orange vodka to make their orange crushes. So they actually are our best customer, the golf course.
Very
Not that you probably need other ideas or anything like that. And Charles knows that when I get ideas, it gets dangerous.
Yeah,
However, I'm sitting here
grow.
now and I'm thinking, is there a potential, and I don't know if you thought about it or not, of taking some of your drink ideas and packaging those for resale, such as your orange spiced old fashioned? Can that be a small batch pre-made?
We
used
actually
for
done that already.
Oh, well, see?
We did that in June. So our we did a half bottle, that same bottle shape, but the half size.
Right.
It's really cute. We did it. Everything we make, we package has to go through tons of approvals with the federal government.
Right.
So the recipe has to get approved, the formula, the labels, and etc. So on June 14th, which was National Bourbon Day and National Old Fashioned Day, we released our very first bottled cocktail, and it was the
Nice.
spiced orange old fashioned. And we had 100 bottles. It sold out in one day.
Wow.
And which we knew
not
it would
surprised.
because
Yeah.
it's not on the menu right now. So our customers who love that drink came and just bought
Oh,
the
yeah.
bottles.
I'll be back next
In
week.
droves.
And
yeah.
So we're gonna have that again for the holidays. We're gonna
Okay.
do that again.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Some of the stuff once you go below a certain proof, you now have to add other things to it to make it shelf stable.
Got it.
That's the kind of tricky part. We haven't quite had time to figure out some of that science and then chemistry behind that. But we have a couple. Our coffee cocktail is very popular. That's something on the possibility. And our version of a Negroni has also been pretty popular. That's another option we might put out there too. That one I could probably do because the alcohol content is still pretty high on that one. But yeah, so we're working on a few of those.
I don't know if you guys saw John's face, but she's talking about a few things and every now and then he goes, wait,
It sounds good.
can we get one of all of those lines? We'll just, can we vote now on? Okay, no, I'm kidding.
Well, it's just every time I come in, I always. Well, I love the golden
Golden tea?
Golden tea,
That's
I love
like
that.
one of my
But then I
favorites.
always try something else besides that, and I have not been disappointed yet. I brought my buddy in the one time, and he got the mojito,
Yeah.
and he wasn't going to get it because he says a lot of times he gets a mojito and they're just
Black.
sugar, black.
Sugary.
And he was,
Yeah, I've never gotten behind a mojito, probably because I haven't had a good one.
and he loved it. He said it was great. You could taste the rum, and it had that little minty taste to it, and nothing was overpowering. He said it was perfect.
So the other thing too that I guess I didn't mention in our logo, right? The yin yang symbol, but yin yang symbol represents what? Balance. We believe in balance of everything here. We believe in balance of flavor in our drinks, hands down. So part of the yin yang symbol, yes, it'll nod to my last name, but also as a whole symbolizes balance. So every drink we make, I'm actually not a big cocktail drinker, believe it or not. Even though we have this, great list of cocktails, and I create almost all the cocktails on the menu, because for me, most places I go for a cocktail, they're too sweet.
Yep.
So the cocktails I prefer tend to be a little bit more spirit forward, a little more bitter, lean that direction. And so everything we make here, even the sweeter cocktails, we try to make it so that there are layers of flavor. It's not just one note. So when we did the painkiller, that's a little bit sweet, but you taste the pineapple and the coconut and the orange and the nutmeg on top, right? Cuts through some of that. For the mojito, our rum is an aged rum. It's aged like a bourbon, so there's strong oak notes to it.
Okay.
So when you make a mojito with that, you're tasting that flavor, not just a plain white rum. You're tasting flavors from oak, right? And we also believe in not too sweet, not too much lime. You want to balance out your drink. And so if we make drinks, you see us a lot of times we are taking a little straw or a little spoon and we're tasting the drink ourselves just to make sure we didn't miss up something on the drink.
Nice.
And that's what we believe in too. But yes, balance is a big part of our approach here in the tasting room.
Nice.
Nice.
I like that too.
All I got out of that is just drink it neat.
I was about to say, yeah, I can't wait until after this where I can taste some things because I'm ready.
And I like all the touches
little
you too. Like you have the lavender flowers and and you burn the I guess
Peels.
the peels and I mean
John's been here a couple times. You can tell, like he's rattling off. Like, I've watched them. They've set the place on fire. They've put it back out.
So
they use the ashes.
We played all your senses too. So the honey lemon lavender old fashioned, we make a honey lemon lavender syrup. But a lot of people are like, ooh, I don't know. I said it's a touch of lavender. Don't worry, you're not going to be eating soap, right? It's not going to be overly tart. No. But what we do is when we garnish it, we do take the lemon peel and we'll kind of burn the edges. And that way it kind of opens up some of the oils of the lemon and will kind of have you smell more of the lemon essence. And when we put a little bit of sprig of lavender in, it's the same idea. When you drink it, you smell.
You smell with your eyes, and you can smell with your taste.
You're kind of tasting with your so you're kind of tasting through smelling in a way, right? So when you smell it, you smell the little hint of lavender in the lemon, and you're drinking, so your mind thinks there is more lemon and lavender in there, even though there isn't really, right? That's another way to kind of trick your taste buds a little bit, and kind of be like, "Ooh, this is."
The visual effect, the odor, and everything play into it, right?
Oh yeah,
it's 100%. It's like when you think about it, when you go into the grocery stores, they're set up in a certain way. It's a proven thing. That's why they pump in smells. That's why your fruits and things they're polished to be bright under the right lights, because when you see it, you experience it. So having the colors and the flavors and the odors, it just brings it all together. So that's
yeah. We
drinking 101, okay, maybe 601. I don't know. 101 is opening the bottle.
My
Right?
husband, me, and our friends Scott and Christy, those who help us behind the bar, we actually all love to cook,
Okay.
and so we've ended up approaching our cocktails a lot like cooking. And there's some of our cocktails we've done where we literally took a dish and turned it into a cocktail. Yeah.
Okay, explain. Yeah, hold on. It must be past like you just say that. Hold on.
Yeah, we gotta go back to that.
You got some General Sodas up there I can drink or something?
We did a watermelon mint feta salad cocktail. So watermelon martinis, a watermelon mint. So watermelon and mint go together, right? So even as a drink. So you see a watermelon mint like smashes or crushes or coolers or mojitos, right?
Yeah.
A watermelon mojito is basically watermelon mint and lime. So imagine that idea. And if feta cheese goes with that in a salad, then feta could also go with it in a cocktail. I mean, you're tasting, full taste and everything. So we made a watermelon mint martini, and we basically made a feta cream, feta foam. Basically, we painted the glass with a little bit of feta cheese. So we took feta and we kind of pulverized it with heavy cream and created this like creamy feta essence, painted inside the glass with it, and then filled it with this watermelon mint martini, which ends up kind of like seizing up the cheese because it's cold. But when you drink it, as you're drinking it, right, by drinking it, it's going to pull some of the feta off the glass every sip you take. You don't want a lot of feta.
Right.
You just want a little bit of it, right? And we experimented. If you put dollops of feta on top, you only get feta when you hit that dollop, or the little drops, right?
Yeah.
If you paint the glass or do a little bit of the rim kind of thing, when you drink it, you're going to pull some of that feta flavor, very light. And that was a watermelon mint feta salad.
Wow. I don't know if you saw me and Matt, but like we're sitting here like mind blown. Like, what?
Mad scientist.
Yeah.
in that. So
That's a whole new idea to drink in your dinner.
I did.
So-
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that.
Drink
Like,
your
except-
calories. I
We
sure
also
will.
did, I think it was after the holidays. Yeah, we did a holiday leftover cocktail series, and one of it actually was a prime rib old fashioned. We did a fat wash bourbon. We took
tried that.
We took actual prime rib meat that was cooked and we had some steaks that we had cooked with Montreal grill seasoning and everything. We took some of that fat, kind of cooked it down, and we basically did a fat wash on our bourbon. And then served it. Now this drink's slightly sweet because it's an old fashioned.
Yeah.
But we basically did a beef fat wash old fashioned.
Wow.
And people, you taste a little bit of that Montreal seasoning still left over. So it's a little bit sweet, a little bit salty, a little peppery. It was delicious.
That was
people
my
loved
next question. Like, could you actually pull the beef flavor? Because I did a bacon wash on a bourbon, and I didn't really notice a lot. Of course, I'm also like, you do an old fashioned, right? Typically, how many ounces go in an old fashioned? We make a standard old fashioned, like a 2 ounce, right?
1 to 2 ounces, yeah.
If I don't get at least 3, that's not worth it to me. When we went to Kentucky, my dad even said it. I said something. I had him buy a pre-mix of old fashioned stuff from Buffalo Trace. And I said, get this because it's a pain in the butt to mix all this stuff. I go, but take this. On the back of it, it was like, I don't know. It was like 2 ounces of that and then like 1 ounce of the bourbon. And I was like, first of all, flip that.
Yeah, it's too sweet. Yeah.
Matter of fact, cut it down to 1 ounce of this and make this 3 ounces. He goes, you like them strong. I'm like, is there any other reason to have it? But back to the bacon, though. The bacon, though, I did a bacon wash, and I've never done it before, so I don't even know I did it right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really intrigued about this beef, and you got those seasonings that popped up in it as well. Like, that just sounds absolutely amazing.
We've done a few fat wash stuff. So we do these dinner events here sometimes. We call them our periodic table series because we periodically get together around a table and
Platinum has to be on that table in there.
Yeah.
We periodically around a table and have this curated experience. So it's lately it's been a 5-course menu that we work with the chef and a caterer to kind of do. It's table service. It's like you're at a restaurant, and we do a cocktail, like a half cocktail pairing for every course. And usually there is some sort of math or science theme behind it. And so we have a little lecture or a little bit of a lesson
Presentation,
that goes with it. Yeah.
Nice.
And so we've done a couple of these type of more experimental type of things for those dinners. One is because we know it's 25 all at once versus people coming in and out like that.
Yeah.
So we did a brown butter old fashioned. That was phenomenal. It was a brown butter old fashioned with like a brown sugar syrup, and it was paired with this delicious Wagyu steak. Right.
Oh, geez.
I already
I will most certainly be back here.
Just
Without
saying,
question.
I already believe in liquid meals.
And
Not
then
only
the
am I
steak and
thirsty now, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, the first time we did this dinner event, it was the topic was the Maillard reaction. The Maillard reaction is this chemical reaction that happens when you bake bread, brown butter, sear meat, toast nut. Is that browning effect? And people talk about why does it smell so good, right? Why does baking bread smell so good? Why does toasting nuts smell so good? And why does it turn brown? So that whole thing, it's a sciencey thing, it's a chemistry thing called the Maillard reaction. So we had this dinner. The first one we did, it was last year, and it was each course, the chef had something that represented the Maillard reaction. So something toasted or seared or grilled or whatever. So every drink we did also had that. So like his first course was this seared pork belly with some bok choy, some rice. That's like the appetizer course. So we actually did a cucumber martini, but I did it inspired by this like cucumber cold dish that we have in Chinese culture. So it had a little bit of sesame oil, toasted sesame oil, had a little bit of soy, whatever. So it went really well with the first course. But anyway, the dinner kind of progressed, and the presenter that night is a chemistry professor. And he basically explained the Maillard reaction to us in like 3rd grade level explanation.
Perfect.
That's what I would need.
Awesome.
Perfect.
The second time we did it, it was in October last year, and it was around National Vodka Day, and actually it was this time last year. National Vodka Day and Global James Bond Day are a day apart, and so we had a bond dinner. Yes.
I love it.
We had a bond dinner.
I love it.
I love puns, by the way. So we had a bond dinner, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a James Bond themed dinner. So every course
Did they have was it a black tie? Did you have
It was cover your best James Bond. So only one person came. Well, we actually have Covalent Spirits bow ties. So our staff wore bow ties.
Nice.
And then every course had food items that were in a Bond movie. Somebody actually online has cataloged all the different foods from different Bond movies.
I'm not surprised.
And there's cookbooks out there like this. Yeah. So it made it easier on the chef to kind of come up with something, right? So he came up with things. We did drinks that either were in a Bond movie or represented something from Bond. So we had
Shaken, not stirred.
we had one of those. We had a Vesper Martini, our version of Vesper Martini. We opened with a blood orange spritz. So every single James Bond movie opens with what? There's that opening scene with like the little. It's either a camera aperture or like a gun thing.
It's like an eye.
Yeah,
Like
right.
yeah,
And then he follows him,
chamber,
and then
yep.
he stops, he shoots, and blood comes down.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
There's always that blood thingy scene in the beginning. So we started the night with a blood orange spritz.
Nice.
And then we actually our main entree was this fried chicken dish that was absolutely amazing. But we did a pawpaw old fashioned. We did pawpaws and different papayas and everything because they were from his movies too. So we kind of followed through all that and everything. And then our lesson for that one, we actually dissected his poker playing in Casino Royale. We had this guy come up from DC who that year made it to finish, I think, the 90th or so out of everybody in the World Series of Poker. Yeah. So he actually won money in that. And so he lasted like 6 days. He sat at the same table as Chris Moneymaker and beat Chris Moneymaker, which I thought was so cool. So he came up from DC and did a poker lesson and stats and to talk about his experience playing in the World Series of Poker. And he brought these big mega cards and show like Bond's final hand and what he would have done and what reality would have been and the odds and chances. Like like he just talked about poker and it was fun. Nice. And yeah. So
I can imagine this brings out the inner kid in us adults. Like when they attend these type of events. Like even the periodic table dinner,
That's
and
fun.
looking at things paired with that, I'm like, that would have brought out my inner child. So I would have loved that.
It's fun.
So I'm concerned about that statement just a little bit, Charles. You keep yours locked up. That's the problem. You can't keep that little thing locked up. The child must lead on all occasions. First off, secondly, when is the next dinner and how do we get an
We don't have anything planned this calendar year.
Do you want help for planning? What can we do
it
to
probably
move
won't
this?
be until first
Where are we
quarter.
at in the table?
Probably early next year, we'll probably do another one. We've done a couple last year. Actually, a couple of local businesses have asked us to do as a private dinner for their own staff or customers. So we've done a few of those just for them as their own, 20-person, 25-person thing. But for the next one that we host that we do, it probably won't be until first quarter.
I'll give you one right off the top. My suggestion right off the top is fire department meals. So as somebody who spent time in the fire service, all the firehouses cook. And there are certain family recipes from these guys that come in and the girls that come in and they have their own stuff. But collectively getting meals from the fire departments around the area, stuff that they fix on shift type situation, even from Baltimore, DC, just something like that. So, and just so you know, if you want a food truck, there's also a gentleman from DC Fire that runs a barbecue food truck. So that's really good too.
Yeah,
So,
very cool.
yeah.
Do you know I used to cook for a firehouse?
Do what?
I used to cook for a firehouse.
Did you really? So there you go.
She's done everything.
Here's the other thing.
I used to cook on Saturdays in Bowie for the firehouse there.
Oh, down in PG County in Bowie?
PG County, yeah. When I was living down in
Good old Bowie.
Bowie.
Good old Bowie. I had a buddy of mine back in the fire department. Actually, it was really ridiculous. He's married now, but we'd go out, and without doubt, he could walk up to her and a girl and go, "Did you go to Bowie?" And somehow they always did. I could never figure it out. I'm like, "Did you know?" He goes, "No, I just took a shot in the dark." I'm like, "But she went. How did you figure that out?" I went to the wrong high school, I guess. This day, first off, we're out of time. Pretty much. We typically talk about real estate conversation, but this has been so amazing. But it's also been accurate. And the reason why I say that, it's funny you bring up this Bond dinner situation. I typically have something playing. I got 6 screens at my house for this stuff, and I normally have something playing on TV or something in the background. And I opened up Amazon Prime or Netflix or something, and what popped up as the thing going on right now is a whole Bond thing. And I literally just started one of the old Bonds, I think with Roger. I think it was one with Roger Moore the other day. And I didn't watch it. I got sidetracked doing something, so I stopped it. But literally, you're telling this Bond thing, and I'm going back. I just turned that on. I guess we were meant to be here and have these conversations. 'Cause
Yes.
I just turned Bond on.
Well, back in the day, it was a thing. I think October, November timeframe. It was
Bond time,
100
yeah.
Days of Bond, whatever. It was a TBS or TNT,
Yeah.
one of those channels
Yeah,
used to
I
have
think it was,
back to
yeah.
back. This was before you could stream things on demand like this, right? So back to back. I mean, I'm a huge James Bond fan. You sit there and watch these movies back to back. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah,
insane.
I mean, this discussion was so great that
Yeah,
we
didn't even
get
wanna
real
get-
estate
I
discussion,
didn't
but
want
I'm
to.
not mad.
Yeah,
at
I
it.
ain't mad at that. We could do
Sorry, I
that
can talk
another
for
time.
hours,
No,
guys.
that's, listen, and we can listen to all the concoctions for hours.
Yes. Yes.
I'd rather drink them.
I'm not opposed to that.
Well, it's just another excuse to come back and do this again.
Yeah, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, 100%. I'll do this all day long.
Well, you can always
anytime
edit out
want,
part of the other
so.
stuff if you want to talk about real estate stuff. We can always cut out some other things.
No, we're not
No,
short.
we're
We're not
not
shorting your amazing story,
Yeah.
your
Right.
amazing life
No.
you've got going on, and everybody needs to know what's happening here. And if they haven't been here to Covalent on Main Street, like literally, you need to make sure that you show up at least once.
Yeah.
And just first off, it's a good environment. It's very nice. It's good, comfortable. It's very inviting. You're very welcoming. I've only had the honey lavender old fashioned. Yet I know John's had several of different concoctions, spirits, my apologies. libations, mad scientists, fashion dreams, or whatever you want to call those creations you want to come. But however, I hear a lot from him. He shares a lot with his friends that come here. Some don't make it out of here in one piece, but it's okay. They come back. There's at least one, and just thank you.
And,
Yes.
and the rookie has had none, so I'm going to experience it for the first time here. So
He wants to end this right now, I think.
I'm not going to rush it, but I am excited to start tasting some of these things.
Charles is like, sign me up before the kids get here. So.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast and everything. We always love talking about our story here, and I guess we didn't really talk about the building itself. I mean, the building, we said, almost 100 years old. We bought this building.
Yeah.
And this building used to be 3 buildings, and now it's 2 with a patio in the middle. But it's been what a project it was to kind of work on rehabbing and refurbishing this old building. And I will say this, had I known what it would take to do that, I don't know if we would have done it. So being a little naive was actually,
Might have been a good thing.
might have been a good thing, I know.
Sometimes you just got to jump. You just got to go. To be honest with you, so I'll tell you what. We can do that the next. I want to come back.
we'll
So
definitely
we'll
be
definitely
back.
come out.
Yeah,
We'll do
we'll
something again in the
definitely be
very
back.
near future with you guys. And other than that, like, thank
Just-
you.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Thank you. Let everyone out there know where they can find Covalent on socials.
Sure. So website is covalentspirits.com. So COVALENT spirits, all one word, .com. On Instagram and Facebook is just Covalent Spirits. And that's where you find us.
Nice.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Make sure you come. It's very good.
Yeah, come check it out.
Yeah.
So, all right. Until next time,
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
we will see you all soon.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.